Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Toldos. Was Dovid Hamelech supposed to be Yaakov's twin instead of Eisav? Following to our Torah is adapted from Rabbi Pinchas Friedman's Shvilei Pinchas from 5782 on Parshas Toldos, this week's Parsha. He asked, why were the twins Yaakov and Eisav so destined to fight and be rivals? And also, why did Eisav love evil Eisav so much? He cites Betzalel of Slutzk in Amudei Shiva, a sefer often quoted by the Chida, and they share in the name of the Galya Raza the following thought, and the same thought was also found in the Yalkut Reuveni. And that is that they cited the Zohar in this week's Parsha, that the Merkavah, God's chariot, had 4 legs, and those 4 legs were the 3 Avos and Dovid Hamelech. And if Yaakov and Dovid had been born together, they would have beaten the zt'l, also known as the Samech Mem, and brought about an early geulah shleimah. The zt'l was frantic. To overcome the criticism and objections of the Samech Mem, so the zt'l was told that it would have influence over Yitzchak's Bechor, the firstborn. However, it was only after Yaakov received the brachos that zt'l realized it was tricked, that it only had control over Eisav, not such a great prize as compared to controlling the great Dovid Hamelech. This ends the Galya Raza and Yalkut Reuveni's insight. So Friedman adds his own thoughts, and he says that in order to support this great chiddush about Eisav not being the destined twin, but rather Dovid Hamelech, so you have to look at something and see that in Shmuel Hanavi, he was afraid about Dovid Hamelech, because there's a connection between Dovid and Eisav. Both of them were the only people listed as Admoni in Tanakh, that they were red, they were ginger. And also, the Tanakh describes that Shmuel Hanavi was afraid about Dovid Hamelech. They thought, he was thinking that he kills people. Both of them, they kill people. But Hashem defended Dovid Hamelech, and he said that unlike Eisav, who kills on his own volition, for his own pleasure, his own sport, Dovid Hamelech only kills at the permission and the behest of the Sanhedrin. So we see there's some commonality between Dovid and Eisav, the redness of their hair and bodies, and their excessive energy that went about, that was used to kill people. Yitzchak was also mistaken about the firstborn. He wanted to give Eisav the bracha because he thought that it was Dovid Hamelech who was fit to be the Melech Mashiach, that was his son. Meanwhile, Rivka, though, she knew what the situation was, because when she investigated her strange pregnancy pangs and pains, so she learned that there were 2 nations in her womb who would be rivals. And that's why she intervened to make sure that it was Yaakov and not the undeserving Eisav who received Yitzchak's brachos. So we see sources indicating Dovid Hamelech was originally supposed to be Yaakov's twin, and together they will bring about the Melech Mashiach b'meher b'yameinu. Instead, unbeknownst to the zt'l and Yitzchak, Yaakov's nemesis, under the influence of zt'l, was born, and Yitzchak loved and wanted to give him the bracha because he thought that this Eisav person was really Dovid Hamelech, who would have brought the geulah. So this is a little bit of off the derech of how I usually give a short voice. I just want to conclude with something a little bit more tangible, and that is that Reb Shamshon Raphael Hirsch says this is the parsha of Chinuch, that there was a mistake here that was made by Rivka and Yitzchak in raising Yaakov and Eisav. They treated them the same, even though they had the same physical environment, same educational environment, they had the same teachers and parents, but one developed into the righteous Yaakov Avinu, and the other was developed in some evil tendencies, and that's Eisav. Hirsch says that one of the factors that Yitzchak and Rivka failed to live up to was the principle of Chanoch Lenar al pi darko. Treat each child according to their own nature, their own way of ability of learning. Cookie cutter teaching does not work for all. No matter how righteous the teachers and parents are, you have to individualize it. Thank you for listening. Like, share, and subscribe. Great Shabbos.